Why, hello there. My name's Keith. I am a meditation teacher here on this channel, Meditation Breaks. And each week on this channel, we explore a different topic of meditation. And you might be like, whoa, I don't know anything about meditation, let alone a specific topic. Don't worry. I start each class with kind of an introduction to what meditation is, how we do it, why does it work, what's actually going on, should you bother doing this? Those kind of questions that you might be asking yourself if this is a new endeavor for you. So we'll start there, as we always do, and then we'll do a short breathing meditation together as kind of our foray into this experience. And then we'll move on to our topic. So if you're like nervous or something that you have never done this before, you're going to be fine. This is, I try to make every class as if no one's done it before, because honestly, that's generally very true, right? A lot of people discover meditation at different times in their life and pop on by to try to see what it's all about, right? Hey, everybody. Okay, so before we get started, I always like to mention that if you have a question or maybe, I don't know, you think of something awesome, you can chat it in using the chat feature here, and that as soon as I see it, I'll answer it. You don't have to wait for Q&A time. There's no Q&A time. It's Q&A time. So take advantage of the fact that I'm like sort of here with you, on at least 7-second delay here with you. And if anything comes up, feel free to ask, because you never know, like your question might be what somebody else is also thinking too. So it can be helpful to put forth those questions if you have them. Okay. So we're going to get started. And we get started each week with this kind of introduction to what meditation is. And the big question here is, well, what is it? What is meditation? When we say that word, something comes to your mind. I'm going to read your mind. This is me reading your mind. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I've read your mind, and the image is somebody sitting cross-legged on the floor with their eyes closed. Right? This is our kind of like generic image of meditation. It's what comes up when we Google meditation. It is almost ubiquitous with the practice. So do you need to sit down with your legs crossed like this to meditate? Like, is that meditation? It's a seating position. Meditation is kind of what's going on behind the scenes. So right away, we can kind of like dispel this notion that you have to like be in a very specific position, at least in my opinion, to do this, right? Because meditation is not a like orienting your body in a certain way. What meditation is, thank you for the sub. I appreciate that, Kayla. What meditation is a technique you can use to start to familiarize your mind with something. Now, you are familiar with lots of stuff. You've been around on this earth for quite some time, and you've learned a lot, and you're familiar with a lot of things, right? You're familiar with how to get to the grocery store, right? You don't have to think too hard about that. You know where to go. When you're in your grocery store that you've been going to forever, you know where the things are generally, right? You're like, I got to get carrots. It's over that way. Oh, I'm low on coffee. It's that way. Right? You're very familiar with your grocery store. And so you can navigate it with a fair amount of ease, right? You know the general direction to go. You don't have to think too much about that. Now, if you move to a new town, let's say, and or you're in the same town, you're like, I'm going to this new grocery store that just opened, and you walk in there and you're like, where are the carrots, right? You don't know where they are. Okay, you're not familiar with the layout of this grocery store. And as a result, it requires more time, more effort, more concentration, more thought to figure out where to go. You're like, oh, I think I see broccoli. That's a good clue. I don't know. This is a crazy example. But the point is that when you are familiar with something, it has a very specific output. And that output is that it takes less effort, concentration, energy, all those things for it to happen, for it to come to be. Learning a language, walking, tying your shoe, literally everything you've ever done in your life is a product of familiarity. So we can see it's pretty important. It plays a large role in our life. And, we've been talking about cool stuff like finding carrots, but unfortunately, our mind's superpower of familiarity can work against us, right? So something like getting frustrated. You don't have to try very hard to get frustrated. You don't have to stop and say, hey, wait a second, I need to get frustrated. If you're wondering why my hands I was painting. Okay. I just put that out there so you don't think there's something wrong with me. You don't have to try very hard at all to get frustrated. Right? Patience, on the other hand, we got to stop. We got to be like, hey, hold on a second. I got to take a moment, right? And this is because our mind has had a lot more practice getting annoyed than being super patient in these situations, right? So our mind, your mind, my mind, everyone's mind does what it is familiar with, right? So meditation is about starting to choose what you want your mind to be familiar with. And really what that translates into is, what do you want your default to be? Like, what do you want mentally to come naturally to you, right? Patience, kindness, less stress, all these things. But we'll talk about relaxation, because that's a big reason people get into meditation. You might think meditation relaxes me. No, meditation does not relax you. Meditation does not have the power to conjure calmness. What it's doing is teaching you to become really familiar with relaxed you. It's in there. There's a version of you that is not stressed, all right? And we want that version to be the dominant version. And the way to do that is to become really familiar with it, right? Just the same thing as learning a language, the grocery store layout, all those things. It's the exact same. We usually think about familiarity in physical, learning how to run or whatever. But mental works the exact same way. Cool. So that's what we're doing here with regards to meditation, but like, how do we actually do this thing? So the practice of meditation is something called single-pointed concentration. One thing, focusing on one thing. So what are we not doing? We're not multitasking. And your mind, even if you don't consider yourself to be an adept multitasker, your mind is always multitasking, because we have kind of trained it to find value in that. And there is value in being able to handle multiple things. Being really relaxed is not one of the outputs of that. And in our society, there's do more, do faster, right? There's all of these like kind of incentives to have our mind juggle a million things. And so that's what it's really good at. You might be like, I'm not a good multitasker, right? Great example. I just like scratched the side of my face while talking. These are two different things. They're not the same. And so my mind, it's happening so fast because it's, our mind is amazing like that. It's like, oh, we're saying these words and then I'm going to say this and then scratch his face and then just go back to saying words. That's what our mind is doing all day long with a million different things. And boy, I don't know about you, but that sounds like a job I don't want. It sounds very stressful, in fact, right? And so what we're doing here with meditation is not that. We're going to focus on one thing. We're going to focus on one thing so exclusively that all that other stuff, all the other bowling pins that our mind is juggling, they're going to fade away into the background. It'll feel as if they're not there. And as a result, our mind will be like, relax, right? You've had an experience like this, definitely a couple times in your life, even if you haven't tried to, right? You ever like been in the zone at work or working at a project, right? Really diligently. What happens? You lose track of time. Someone calls your name, you don't hear it. Weird, right? So like single pointedly concentrated on one thing that the other stuff that is normally pulling our mind's attention, it's faded to the point where it's not kind of intrusive to us. So that is what we're going to learn how to do. And we're going to do some breathing meditation. And all that means is meditation, what we just talked about, where the focus, this thing we're focusing on single pointedly, is our breath. You can meditate on anything. If you missed last week's class, we talked about all these like kind of like expanding what we consider to be a meditation, right? You can meditate on brushing your teeth. The only requirements for meditation are that you choose to focus single pointedly on this thing. Notice when your attention is drifting from that thing, bringing your attention back. 3 steps. So that's what we're going to do. And the goal here is not to never get distracted. Your mind will wander. That's what our minds do. Our mind is extremely used to thinking about a lot of things. And so when we're like, hey, mind, check this out. You're going to focus on one thing. Our mind's like, why? It's like resistance. So we all will have that. And some days will be, more resistance than others. But the goal here is not perfection. It's not to never get distracted. The goal is to start to notice when you're getting distracted and start to notice earlier on before you're down the rabbit hole, thinking about it 3 years from now or whatever. The earlier you can notice these things, the easier it is to decide what you want to do with that. Like, do you want to be thinking about this thing that popped into your head? Is that really important to think about right now? Or not? All right. Having ownership, choice. That's what this is all about. Okay. So let's do a little breathing meditation. And you may notice I am not on the floor. I'm not sitting on the floor. When I do, my back hurts. Your back may also hurt from sitting on the floor, or you might love it. It doesn't matter. Sit wherever you want. You want to lay down? Go and do that. You got a nice, comfy, lazy boy. You're going to start to recline. Do that. Although you might fall asleep. It doesn't matter what your seating position is. The only thing I'll say is that try to find a spot that is relatively comfortable. That way you're not thinking about how uncomfortable you are instead of your breath. Right? Georgette, I know I'm all screwed up from the time change. Can we stop this time change thing already? Enough with this madness. Okay. So you can get nice and comfy, find your spot, go ahead and close your eyes. That's going to help with some of the visual distractions, and I'll guide us through about a 5 minute breathing meditation. Okay. Whenever we start a meditation, it's good to take a moment and check in. Ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? What's my mind up to in this exact moment? Maybe you're tired, you've had a long day. Maybe you're energetic, excited to learn. Maybe you're feeling happy, or maybe you're feeling a little down. Whatever it is perfect. We are not trying to change anything. We are just noticing. Taking an interest in what your mind is up to. Observing. This is a practice called mindfulness. Take a moment and check in. Having done that, you can now set an intention, a little promise to yourself. All that means is you just say to yourself, self, for the next couple of minutes, I am going to focus exclusively on my breath and nothing else. All the other thoughts can wait. This is my only task right now. Let that promise, that wish, that intention sit in your mind. This is the only thing you need to focus on. That's it. And with that intention set, you can act on it. Turn your full, undivided attention to your own breath, following each breath in and out, gently, naturally. You don't have to change how you breathe here. No need to forcefully exhale air or take big, deep in breaths. However you normally breathe, whatever comes natural. That's what I want you to do. In and out. Very gently, very naturally. At some point, sometimes rather quickly, you may notice your attention is no longer exclusively on your breath. It's starting to split time. Maybe you're thinking about something that happened earlier today. Maybe you're thinking about something you have to do later after this class or tomorrow for work. Whenever you notice that your mind has drifted in this way, no big deal. We can just say not right now to those thoughts. We'll get to them later. They're not bad or intrusive. They're just thoughts. Just not now. You can imagine yourself actually picking up those thoughts, placing them beside you where they are waiting patiently. And with those thoughts waiting patiently beside you, you can bring your full focus back to breathing, in and out, gently, naturally. Single pointedly focused on each moment of each breath. We don't often think about our breaths in terms of moments, but what if we did? Every time you breathe in, can you imagine, watch as that air slowly leaves the atmosphere, being pulled into your body? Can you feel that air move through your body to your lungs? Feel your chest expand to make room. Feel the energy that you get with each in-breath. And what about when you breathe out? Can you feel your chest contract, your shoulders fall? Can you visualize that air moving back through your body? Out. Back into the atmosphere where it dissipates, mixing with all the other pockets of air. We'll never experience that same pocket of air again. But we had such a incredible and valuable moment with it. When you single pointedly focus on something, you'll often notice some subtleties about that thing. Subtle interests, subtle joys. Perhaps now, even just a little bit, you're finding some enjoyment in breathing in and breathing out. Very gently, very naturally. Keep bringing your attention back to your breath as many times as you need to. This is meditation. You are meditating right now. You are training your mind to tap into its natural peacefulness. You're training your mind to focus on what you want to focus on in this moment. And right now, the only thing you want to focus on is breathing in, breathing out, very gently and very naturally. For the last few moments here, just enjoy sitting with your breath, breathing. No need to think about too much. Just take a little time for you. Okay. And whenever you are ready, you can open your eyes. Hello. Hopefully that was enjoyable. Congrats, you're a meditator. You did it. Now, like we said, it's only 3 steps that we do kind of over and over, but that doesn't mean that it's simple, right? And you might have had the experience of, whoa, the heck is my mind doing? It can't focus on my breath for more than a couple seconds before it starts to think about something. It'll be like, oh, there's an itch. Oh, that was a sound. This does not mean that you are not good at meditation. All right, this is a huge kind of like hurdle that people are like, I got distracted. I didn't do well. No. We all get distracted. Our mind thinks. That's what it does, thankfully, right? It's kind of important. The only reason why it's kind of jumping around a lot is because that's what it's used to doing, right? Oh, thanks, Georgette. I appreciate that. If you take nothing else away from today, your mind does what it is familiar with. We do what we are familiar with. And so we are super familiar with focusing on a million things at once. So there's, not really surprising that it might be a little challenging when we try to do the opposite, but it can become just as easy as multitasking, or easier, right? That's our superpower, the ability to choose what we want to be familiar with. And yeah, this is a slow burn. Meditation takes time. It's not like, I've meditated, I'm fixed, right? It is a long tail type of thing. Cool? Okay. All right, that's breathing meditation. Hopefully you found that to be cool or enjoyable or something like that. I'm going to move on to our topic for today. And our topic for today is very thinky. I don't think that's a word, right? We're going to kind of look at why you're here. Not on Earth, but here, right now, meditating. Why? This is a really important question, right? And we all are here for different reasons, and they are all equally important, right? When we're thinking about why we're here, the reason why we're doing this, right, why this is important, is because it taps into something called aspiration, which we're going to talk a little bit about today. Now, when you decided to come to this meditation class, something triggered that, right? This is called inspiration. It's like a spark. Inspiration is like a spark. Like, maybe, and the reasons, they could be, I want less stress. I want to be more patient with myself or patient with others, less anxiety, all those things, right? So you found out about meditation somehow, right? You read a book or you heard it on a podcast or some friend was like, hey, you should check this out. All those things are conduits for inspiration, right? And when one of those things happen and we notice inspiration, it's exciting. It feels good, right? And credit to you, you're here, right? You've acted on your inspiration. When you act on your inspiration for whatever reason that you are interested in meditation, there comes a handoff. Like we're in a relay race, track and field or whatever, right? And, we're inspiration, we're running. And then we got a handoff. and we got to hand off to something called aspiration. If inspiration is the spark that got us here, aspiration is the flame. It's the thing that will keep us here. It is an immovable wish. It is a deep familiarity with why you want to meditate or why you want to do anything. Right? Why are you here? Now, aspiration is kind of challenging for a lot of reasons, mainly that there's a lot of things competing for our time, attention, energy, and effort. You are busy. You have work, you have responsibilities, you have pastimes and hobbies, and you got to catch up on White Lotus, right? Or whatever favorite show you have. There's a lot of things competing for your time each day. And some of these things we label as really important to do. Like, I have to eat. Good idea. I got to eat. I got to go to work. It's important, right? Then there's things that we like doing, maybe like watching a show or going for a walk or something, right? Things that we like, I just like doing that. Right? Then there's things that we feel we should be doing, right? There's all these things, right? And what happens is that we start to label all of these things: important, not important, fun, not fun, whatever, right? And in the mix of these millions of things pulling for our attention, it can be hard to keep that flame going because there's a lot of flames that have to be kept going. And so we can even kind of over time view this thing that was inspiring or you have aspiration for as getting in the way of you being able to, I don't know, watch your show or whatever, right? You start to label. And so in order to fortify aspiration, that requires a deep familiarity with the benefits of your wish, of this thing you want to do. Why do you want to do this? What are the benefits? And what we are looking to do here is drill down deep into why. I'm going to give you an example, okay? So I, Keith, me, got into meditation for anxiety a long, long time ago. I have had clinical anxiety and depression for my entire adult life. And I wanted to try it to see if it could help, right? Inspiration. I was inspired to try it, right? I read a little bit about it, a little bit more inspiration, signed up for some classes, more inspiration. I had a friend who was already kind of doing this, and they were like, hey, come along, right? Inspiration. When I got into meditation, right, I originally was here for anxiety, and I still use it for that, but I started to really drill deeper into why I want to get rid of anxiety, right? And why that's important to me, right? So you can see at the surface, inspiration can sometimes be like surface level, right? Anxiety bad. I want to get rid of it. And then if we think about it, well, why? Why? We start to ask why. And what happens when we ask why, when we investigate something, and that's really what a big part of meditation is, investigating thought, um, we start to gain a deep familiarity with why we're doing this. It starts to feel important. We start to internalize the deep meaning behind why we're doing this. And when you know that something is important, or you find joy in it, or you feel like you should be doing it, you're going to do it. And so our goal today, we're going to do a little meditation together, is to explore why you are here, and we're going to drill deep. Lucia, I'd like to be able to be less reactive and more even-keeled in various situations. Also like to be able to set healthy limits, boundaries, follow through on them. Amazing. Both of these aspirations will help you be happier. Perfect. So this is a great example. So when we do this meditation, thank you for commenting this. This is what you're going to meditate on. And it's going to go like this. We're going to start with a little breathing meditation to chill, to relax. And then I'm going to lead a little thought experiment here. I call it the why meditation, which is, I don't know, it's not really a great name, but whatever, it's aptly named. And what we're going to do is first think about what brought us here. Why are you here right now? Something, you had this idea, like Lucia was saying, I'd like to be more even-keeled, less reactive. Like, these are all amazing reasons why you're here. Pick one of them. Why are you here? And everyone's reason is different, all right? You don't have to, and don't think too hard about it. Like, you know, right? You be honest with yourself. So that's how we'll start. We're going to think about that reason. Just kind of let it sit in our mind. I'll use my example of I want to be less anxious. So I'd be sitting there with my eyes closed and thinking, I'm here because I want to be less anxious. And that's it. I'm just going to sit with that answer for a little while. Then I'll be directing this whole orchestra. You're going to ask yourself why. Why do you want to be less anxious? That would be mine. Right? Why do I want to be less anxious? And whatever pops into your head, whatever answer you have, sit with that. In my case, maybe something like, so I can feel comfortable each day. And we sit with that. And then we ask why again. And what we're doing, we're going to do this 4 or 5 times, is we're taking our surface level reason for wanting to meditate, or surface level motivator for our meditation practice. And we're starting to find where that came from, the core reasons we're here. And the deeper we go, the more solid this kind of wish is, the more fortified our aspiration is. Cool? Let's do it. You don't have to, and the key here is don't think too much about this, right? Whatever comes to mind, that's it, man. You just sit with that. You don't have to think about it too much. This is a great meditation. This is the one I tell my friends about. Oh, that's great, Tracy. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're using this for, at least right now, for, whatever, finding what motivates us with meditation. But this can be used for anything. It's a way of investigating something to see, is there more than meets the eye? Where is this all coming from? Is this person actually really mean? Like all these things, right? This is a really versatile meditation. So I'm glad that you like it, Tracy. I also like it. Let's do it. Okay. So once again, get comfy. Perhaps you did not enjoy your previous seating arrangement. It happens. You can change. So find a seating arrangement that is pleasing to you in this current moment. Go ahead and close your eyes. Once again, take a moment to check in. How are you feeling right now? What's your mind up to? Just now, we're not comparing it to before. Before is done. Only now. And having checked in, you can once again set an intention. This time, our intention is twofold. First, we're going to do some breathing meditation to relax. Your wish is to focus single pointedly on your breath to the best of your ability to try to relax even just a little bit. And then from there, with that relaxed mind, we're going to explore the reasons why we want to meditate, the benefits of us doing so. Let this intention, this wish, sit in your mind. It is the only things we're focusing on. That's it. All other things can wait. And so turn your attention to your breath, breathing in and out just a little bit for a little while to relax. Very natural. We're just taking a little time. Breathing in and breathing out gently, naturally. And if you catch your mind thinking about something that happened earlier or something you got to do tomorrow, no big deal. You can just say, not right now to those thoughts. We'll get to them later. Place them to the side. Bring your attention back to breathing in and out gently, naturally. Keep bringing your attention back to your breath whenever you need to. Having spent some time doing breathing meditation, even just briefly like we did, you can quiet some of the noise around us. Maybe we're feeling a little bit more relaxed, even just microscopically. We can use that more relaxed mind state to our advantage. We can use it purposefully to investigate things with clarity. Today, we're going to do a little investigation on the reasons you want to meditate. So, I'd like you to bring to mind why you're here. You may have a bunch of reasons. Just pick the one that jumps out to you. What got you here? What do you hope to get out of meditation? Let that answer, whatever it is, sit in your mind. We're not analyzing it. We're just sitting with it, becoming familiar with it. And now I'd like you to ask yourself why. For whatever the reason was, why? No need to think too much. Whatever comes to mind, just sit with that now. Let that answer sit in your mind. No need to analyze. We have our answer. We're just sitting with it. And once again, ask yourself, why? Drill deeper. Whatever comes up, just sit with it. Sit with this answer now. And then one final time. Why? Whatever your response is, let that sit. Become friends with this response. Know it. This is one of the core reasons you're here. Whatever that answer is, that is why you're here. That is why you want to meditate. That is the benefit of doing this. And whatever That answer is, I bet you it's pretty important. So important, in fact, that you will never forget it. From this day forward, you will never forget why you are meditating, why you are here. And since you'll never forget it, it will always be important to you. Okay. Whenever you are ready, you can open your eyes. Hello. Sorry, I know that one's a little longer, but we got to ask a bunch of questions. So, this is not something you need to just do once. And you might have a lot of different reasons why you're here, right? Lucia gave a lot of great examples, right? Each one of those is valid, and each one of those will lead to a different why answer, right? And the purpose here is, again, to start to really understand what is motivating you to do this. Going deep enough that that thing is incredibly important. So important that you do it. So whatever that was for you, that is one of your core reasons, right? And you can ask why as many times as you want. I find this is a good amount. But I really do like this meditation because something interesting always comes up. And that is what meditation is really all about. Investigating our mind so we can do something with that information. Cool? Okay. That is all for today, folks. If you had a good time, please come on back. Now, next week, God, I really should just wash the paint off my hands before I do this. Next week, I will not be doing a stream. It's my birthday. It's my birthday, and so me and my partner are gonna go do something fun. Not that this isn't fun, but we're gonna go out. It's my 40th. Okay, so best meditation ever. Wow. Now, don't forget what your answer is, right? It's really important. Thank you. Happy birthday to me. Yay. Thank you. That means a lot. So I won't be here next week. I will be here the following week. Right? So you got a whole week to ponder this why stuff. Thank you to Kayla, who subscribed during the live stream, and anyone else who did that I missed when my eyes were closed or whatever. And anyone who chooses to do so at whatever point they would like to, if they do, means a lot to me. It's cool for you. You get notifications when I'm going live, and all my old videos are up there, right? But I really appreciate all the support. You guys are the best. And if you're like, hey, well, this was cool. I wasn't expecting to like meditation as much as I do. I do teach privately. Like I do it over Zoom. It's pretty laid back, right? And if that's interesting to you, right, you can email me, and we'll find a time that will work. You guys are so nice. All the happy birthdays, Antonio. I will. I'm enjoying painting. I know you're a painter too. Okay. This is my email, and you don't. You can email me any questions you have to. You don't have to. It's not just for if you want to do a one-on-one meditation. My email is Keith at meditationbreaks, spelled entirely correctly, .com. Well, I don't know if that went through. I think I'm getting an error, but I'll say it again. Keith at meditationbreaks.com. That's my email. Hopefully you guys had a good time here today. I know this is kind of, it's a bit of a heady meditation. And so I'm proud of you for doing it. And I'm really honored that you're here. And I really appreciate all of the time that you guys dedicate to spending time with me each Wednesday. So I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.